everybody, my name is Allison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Backyard Science. Today we are going to be talking about one of my absolute favorite animals that maybe a lot of you might not find very cute like I do. You might think they're kind of gross or icky or weird, and those are snails. So I happen to think snails are extremely cute, and they are one of my favorite animals, but they have a pretty bad reputation for being gross and slimy, and a lot of people don't like them because they eat plants in your garden. But I'm here to tell you some very cool facts about snails and hopefully help you see how cool they are. So there are 60,000 different kinds of snails. I always love to start my videos with how many different kinds of a certain thing they are, because it's mind-blowing to think of all the different types of one thing you can have when really we just think about our typical garden snails. But there are freshwater snails, sea snails, land snails, garden snails, all sorts of different kinds. The biggest snail weighed in at almost 2 pounds and was about 16 inches long. So that's very big when you think that the typical garden snail is about this big. So think about one that's 16 inches. This is about an inch, and then weighing 2 pounds. That is quite a lot. That is a big snail. Snails are part of the group called gastropods, which means stomach foot. And a part of that is because snails, the big part of their body that you think of that looks like a slug, that is called a foot. And the snail uses their foot to get from place to place by exuding a mucus trail that helps them slide along surfaces. When you look at a snail's head, you'll see 4 tentacle-like, antenna-like things. 2 of these are their little feelers, and these help them to feel around as they're moving, because snails can't actually see, they can just see variations of light and dark. So they have these little feelers that help them as they're going along, and the other set actually have their eyes on top. So there's 2 little sets, one down here, one up here. These ones have their eyes on them. Snails hatch from eggs, which is something that I didn't know, and when they come out they look like very, very, very miniature versions of a real snail. Their shells are very thin and translucent when they're younger, and as they grow up, their shells get harder and form that really cool spiral design that you see, and that is their protection. They can hide inside of their shells. A snail will die if its body gets too dry, and because of that, snails love moist, damp areas, and that's why you see a lot of snails come out when it rains, or in my area when it's really foggy and misty outside. They love that type of weather. It helps keep their body nice and fresh, and that is where they thrive. Some snails can actually live to be as old as 20 years. That's a really long time for such a small little critter. They also have a rough tongue that helps them to shred leaves, which is one of the primary things that they eat. They love to eat leaves and other plant material. I'll show you this really cool picture of their mouth, because that's a view that you don't normally get to see. So I hope that you've learned a little bit about snails and think maybe they're a cooler critter than you thought they were previously. Snails and slugs are different. A slug is not just a snail that's lost its shell. And you can check out our video about slugs by visiting our Backyard Science playlist. For this video, I got information from a couple of books that we have in our collection. The first is Let's Look at Snails by Laura Hamilton Waxman. This was a great one with all sorts of really, really, really great pictures, like the one that I showed you of a snail's mouth. The other book that I used was Backyard Books, Are You a Snail? By Judy Allen and Tudor Humphreys. And this was a great book about different facts about snails. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time on Backyard Science. Bye-bye, everyone.